Hey, 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 happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. That's right. It is the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com. All right, so welcome aboard, everybody. A little late start, a couple of minutes late. I'll explain why in just a couple of moments. But tonight is Wednesday, September 8th, 2021. This is live stream number 693. So if this is your first time joining me, let me point out this is very, very casual. We just hang out, talking about the latest in tabletop games. So take a load off, put your feet up, as something suddenly got in my eye. That's great. All right, it's gone. There's so much dust and weird things floating around, dander in that, floating around down here in the duct tape studio. I guess maybe I should start calling it the dust tape studio. Anyway, very, very casual. So relax, put your feet up. It's not rocket surgery taking place around here. So do want to point out tonight, we are going to take a first look at Fallout The Roleplaying Game from Modiphius Entertainment. That's right. It has been kind of a Modiphius week because on Monday's show, we took a first look at the Dune Adventures in the Imperium role-playing game, which is also from Modiphius Entertainment. Anyway, do want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live right here on YouTube, it'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as reviews. I did a review of Secrets of Magic for Pathfinder, but that was actually on the live show. I don't actually have anything sitting nearby to grab that I did an upload for. So that's okay. But as long as if you subscribe, then you'll be notified when I stream live as well as when I upload new stuff as well. Also do want to point out, this is a live stream, so that means chat is available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, please chime in. I will do my best to respond. So as I mentioned, a couple minutes late getting started, and I hate when that happens because I'm running around trying to do stuff, and all of a sudden, one of the cameras was the overhead camera, the Sony, was like kind of fritzing on the color. I was like, what the hell's going on? So usually what that means is there's some sort of conflict with my USB ports. So I messed around with that. So hopefully everything is okay. So Flaming Heron's here in chat. He's one of our chat moderators asking about the PDF. Dude, you just won it on Monday. It's like today's Wednesday. Good jeez. Man, I've had a lot of stuff going on. In fact, I'll talk about that as well. Things have been really weird. Things have been very, very strange past couple of days. Anyway, but let's jump in because I want to see who we got in chat here. We got Hunter Perkins. We've got TDW Maverick. I believe that's the first time they have joined us. So welcome aboard. My friend from high school, Scott Weekle, is with us. Boris has stopped by as well. So Fleming Heron's like, it's all good. In fact, I was going to shoot you an email. I just haven't uploaded it. So effectively what happened is the code in the book had been used. So I was like, wait a second, what's going on here? How come that was used? So I just had to get another code. That's all. 245 Trioxins with us. And of course, Nicholas Stanishek was first out the gate tonight. So we're going to jump into the news, and then we're going to be taking a look at Fallout, which I took the shrink wrap off of. I could have left it on, but it was getting a lot of glare in the camera. So anyway, if this is your first time joining me, do want to point out that we talk about the latest in tabletop gaming news first. So that means we're probably about 30 minutes out from the live first look at Fallout, the role-playing game. So if you are not interested in what's going on in the world of tabletop games, come back in about a half hour. Just let you know. So anyway, so on Monday's show, it was very weird because I shared those oddball Dungeons and Dragons nerds that the PR company for Wizards of the Coast sent me some swag, right? So as a matter of fact, this is the 20-sided die that came in the box. So anyway, not thinking. So I'm sharing the box, and the box had my address on it. So I'm like, somebody shot me an email right after the show and said, hey, Jeff, I don't know if you know this, but you can read your address right on that box. So I'm like, okay. So I had to wait for it to render, which the live streams, I can't really do anything to them for about, I don't know, about 10 hours, 10 or 11 hours. But you can blur it. So you can pick a spot and you can blur the video. So that's what I did. And of course, it's like with most things with YouTube, with their like editing bay, which there aren't many editing tools, that's for sure. It never works the way it's supposed to. So it did blur out my address. Problem is, the video starts off with a little blurred out square in the middle of the screen. I come on, there's like a blur for like, I don't know, like 20 seconds. And it's like, that is not where I set the blur to be. Good old YouTube. It's like, here's the half-ass thing that you definitely don't want. We're gonna take away something that used to work perfectly and give you some half-ass replacement that sort of works. It's like, thanks, YouTube. So here's what happened as well. So I had a couple of giveaways. Now, I swear the two people who won the giveaways on Monday's show, Physical Adventures from Paizo Inc., one Starfinder, one Pathfinder, I swear they sent me emails with their addresses. I got their addresses somehow. They're gone. Absolutely gone. I was like, wait a second. I know damn well that I saw these. I even went on my mail server where I do not have my mail program set up to like delete stuff off the server. It stays on the server. They're not there either. And I'm like, they didn't reach out on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Where the hell did I see their addresses? So I know 245 Trioxin's one of them. Oh, so here's the other thing too. So once I did that little blur, it got rid of the chat for the show. Chat's no longer available for the show because I did a little blur for 20 seconds in the video. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So it's Clint Gibson and 245 Trioxin are the winners. So do me a favor. If I remember correctly, I think 245 Trioxin won the Starfinder adventure and Clint won the Pathfinder adventure. But yeah, it was super bizarre. I was like, what the hell's going on? I could see if I like cut pieces out of the video, yeah, then it would throw the chat off. It'd be weird. All I did was blur something. So, I mean, the runtime of the video didn't change. So I'm like, what the? So, Flaming Heron says, doesn't chat always disappear after a stream is not live? No. I usually save it. I make sure that the chat shows up. So, yes, if there's a live stream, unless YouTube has suddenly changed something. But normally the chat is available. I'm not sure. I think you have to be a subscriber because you have to be a subscriber to take part in chat. So anyway, I just thought it was really weird. I'm like, man, what the is going on here? And then, of course, I go to get the PDF of Dune. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That code's been redeemed. It's like, what in the hell? Anyway, I do want to point out, I am going to be giving away a PDF of Fallout The Roleplaying Game tonight. We'll come up with some oddball trivia question, another numerical one. Whoever's closest, they're going to get a copy of it because I know there's a code in the Fallout book as well. All right, so enough of that. I know people are like, geez, Jeff, shut up. I'm in a good mood. Settling in because it was so weird. It was so weird running around tonight, trying to get things in under the gun. And then I'm like, okay, I'm all set. I'm all ready. Because I hit cardiovascular rehab today. And that usually kind of throws a wrench into things. And I'm like, okay, all set, all ready. It's like 5 minutes before the stream, and I'm checking the cameras and everything, checking my software. And all of a sudden, it's glitching. And I'm like, I don't know. Flaming Heron says, just guess 30, whatever the question is. Yes, Flaming Heron won once with that guess. All right, let's jump on into the news because currently up for crowdfunding for Portal Games is 11 football. Hey, what in the world just happened there? Like, what the hell? I'm telling you, gang. This I think it's the software maybe is glitching because that is not what I just hit to go to. All right. Anyway, hey, it's a live show. It's always fun. Kevin R. Smith has joined us in chat as well. Anyway, 11 Football Manager board game is up for crowdfunding. Here's the dope. 11, the number of players you have on the pitch at any given time, with those players making all the difference between being the best team and the worst. Depends on if Ted Lasso's your coach, I guess. But every team knows that to be the best in the league, it takes a lot more than players. It also takes an incredible manager. 11 Football Manager board game is an economic strategy game set in a world of sport. Your task is to manage and grow your own football club over the course of a season. Of course, we're talking European football, not American football. During the game, you'll hire staff members, including trainers, physical therapists, PR specialists, and directors. You acquire sponsors, expand the stadium infrastructure, and take care of your club's position in social media. Among the many tasks on the list are transferring new players and choosing the right tactics for each of the upcoming matches. 11 is a scenario-driven game. It includes 6 different scenarios that challenge players with different starting situations and goals for the season. In the beginning, the task is simple. You have to climb the steps of the football leagues and achieve the appropriate experience. That's not so easy. Promotion's not that easy. You may have to manage the club in a crisis. And at other times, you may have to rejuvenate a football team of players that are not so young anymore. You may also have to fight against time to try to complete the stadium before the deadline. There is a short video. This is not on Kickstarter. This is on GameFound. So it's important to keep that in mind. Of course, if you go to Portal Games, it'll take you right to it. But the video is about 1.5 minutes. So let's take a peek.
Welcome to the stadium. This is going to be a great game. Will the manager be successful with his team? The choice of directors can prove crucial. Oh, last minute change. This director will take care of the fans. These choices will affect the entire season. Yeah, this player could be the key to the team's success. Incredibly, the club has gained a great sponsor. Thanks to the cash, it will be possible to develop the stadium. Scout says this match will be tough. This is a key moment. The manager must choose the right tactics. Let's get started. Yeah, great game. This team is going for the cup. Situation will significantly weaken the team. It is not over. Great stadium. Interesting transfer. Can anyone stop them? Another win. What a game. 11.
$11 is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and plays in 1 to 2 hours. The project is completely funded over on GameFound. You can reserve a copy of the game for a pledge of approximately $70. You can also go all in for an approximate pledge of $150. This is running through September 26th. Expected delivery is September of next year. I got to say, this looks pretty interesting. I am a fan of Football Manager. I've played Football Manager, oh my gosh, for at least 15 years. I usually pick the newest edition that comes out. So I had to laugh the way the box cover is. That box cover is a complete takeoff of the, well, video games don't come in boxes anymore, but they still have a box cover graphic that is spot on Football Manager. And even the title of this game, 11 Football Manager board game, they're really trying to get that Football Manager crowd in. But look at that. I mean, the layout is pretty big on this as well. There are a lot of different add-ons that are available. They're like mini expansions and things like that. I had even seen, not that I ran across this lately, but when there was like talk about this coming to a crowdfunding platform, they were showing all the different, you could order like your own custom player markers and stuff. I was like, really? But I think they got away from that. I don't think they ended up going with that. So yes, this is being crowdfunded. This is not just through some other retailer or distributor or something like that. GameFound is only for games. And it's kind of funny because there was another crowdfunding platform. I want to say it was out of France. And off the top of my head, I do not remember the company name, but about 2 Gen Cons ago. So, of course, it wasn't a Gen Con last year. Wasn't the one before that. I want to say it was like 2018. I actually had a meeting with some other game media people for some company that were introducing their crowdfunding platform. I think it's still around out of France. And for the life of me, I don't remember who it is because most people only think of Kickstarter. So regardless, this does look pretty cool. Look at that. Look at all that stuff that's in this game. And if it's pretty good, nice. 245 Trioxin says GameFound has an RPG up now. Yeah, I think it's just for tabletop games is what it is. All right, so we're talking about crowdfunding. So there is another game which is up for crowdfunding. It's over at Kickstarter. I think it's probably worth a look. It is Soulforge Fusion, which is from StoneBlade Entertainment. Here's the latest. StoneBlade Entertainment has announced they are relaunching their hit digital trading card game SoulForge as a new tabletop experience. SoulForge Fusion, designed by Magic the Gathering creator Richard Garfield and StoneBlade CEO Justin Gary, will be the first ever hybrid card game with over 15,000 cards in the base set alone. Let that set in for a second. 15,000 cards in the base set. In SoulForge Fusion, players combine unique half decks to create a full deck, a la kind of like Smash Up. Every half deck is algorithmically generated, meaning no two decks are the same. Players can combine and recombine their half decks to explore all the strategic possibilities SoulForge Fusion has to offer. SoulForge Fusion will also support digital play through Tabletop Simulator, and each half deck will be able to be scanned into StoneBlade's online database, so players can participate in tournaments online. SoulForge Fusion is the culmination of a decade of work, combining great gameplay, great stories, and new technology to create something truly revolutionary, said Justin Gary. SoulForge Fusion is one of the most exciting game projects that I've gotten to work on, and I'm really very pleased with the results, added Richard Garfield. In SoulForge Fusion, all decks are, once again, algorithmically generated, so no two are ever going to be alike. You then take your two decks, or half decks, and shuffle them together to battle. You and your opponent compete in strategic lane-based combat. When you play a card, it levels up, allowing you to access new powers and abilities to defeat your opponent and damage their creatures. First player to bring their opponent down to 0 health. Well, that rings a bell from many collectible card games. Whoever brings their opponent down to 0 health is the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So we also have a Kickstarter video. It's a little less than a minute and a half. So let's jump in. You'll get a much better feel for SoulForge Fusion.
From Richard Garfield, creator of Magic the Gathering, and Justin Gary, creator of the Ascension deck building game, comes a brand new hybrid deck game for the digital age. A game with limitless variety, with over 15,000 unique cards in the Kickstarter exclusive edition. Introducing SoulForge Fusion. Choose your Forgeborn from one of 4 unique factions: the Tempest, the Alloyan, the Utera, or the Necrium. Each Forgeborn comes with 30 algorithmically selected cards, which means no two Forgeborn are the same. By combining 2 Forgeborn, you create a deck unique to you and your playstyle. In each game, you compete in strategic lane-based combat, leveling up your cards as you play, allowing you to access new powers and abilities. Defeat your rivals by summoning creatures and casting spells until their Forgeborn's health is reduced to 0. Forever change the world of SoulForge by competing at local game stores, conventions, and online tournaments. Players will have the opportunity to influence the lore, unlock upgrades for cards, and discover new abilities for the Forgeborn. SoulForge Fusion is a game like no other. Back it now on Kickstarter.
SoulForge Fusion is for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up. Plays in around 25 to 60 minutes. This project is over 500% funded over on Kickstarter. You can reserve a copy beginning at the starter tier for a $40 pledge through September 30th. Expected delivery is April of next year. I got to admit, and there is some discussion of this in chat as well, this really does feel like Keyforge, doesn't it? I don't know. I got to be honest, I never played Keyforge. You'll notice there aren't a lot of reviews of like Fantasy Flight Games stuff after the Asmodee takeover. But I know it was super popular. I think Keyforge kind of died out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's people in chat or watching after the fact. Maybe you want to chime in the comment section. But to me, it seems like Keyforge kind of came and went. But I don't know. This could be pretty interesting. Justin Gary, strangely enough, has a game design out, and it's not through StoneBlade Entertainment. We just talked about it on Monday, either Monday or last Wednesday. And I thought, wait a second, Justin Gary, how come it's not through StoneBlade? But this is. So might be worth taking a peek. It is, once again, fully funded. So something to check out. All right. So we've got Kringle in chat. Good to see you, Kringle. Yes, you made it before I hit Fallout. We still got a bit of news to go before we get to Fallout. But also, Indigo Dragon's with us. Good to see you. So, Keyforge plummeted, according to Indigo Dragon. Yeah, that's what I had thought. I remember, I think part of it, I know, we're doing a news piece about Soulforge Fusion and talking about Keyforge. So, it's like, But from my understanding, they had pumped up Keyforge so much that it was super hot. All these people were like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta go get Keyforge," and they didn't have enough product. So the friendly local game stores were all sold out, and the online retailers were sold out. And I think that really cost Fantasy Flight Games in the end, because when they had all that interest, they didn't have any product to sell. So Kevin says, I can't tell. I've barely been in a friendly local game store in a couple of years and never actually played Keyforge. Neither have I. I have not played it at all. I have played Ascension. I think Ascension's a pretty good game. That's a Justin Gary design. Also from StoneBlade Entertainment. So Kevin R. Smith also points out Keyforge was a Richard Garfield creation. Yeah, I know. That's why I thought it was kind of odd. Indigo Dragon says the pandemic Keyforge. I think there were problems with that release long before COVID came along. Just because you figure at the last 2019's Gen Con, that was like a big deal. So Boris asks, how are you going to shuffle 15,000 cards? Very carefully. Very carefully. All right, let's move on to some role-playing game news because there is a new bundle of holding which has arrived. You can score big savings on the Numenera role-playing game from Monte Cook Games. Here's the skinny. Explorer. This Numenera Discovery Bundle presents PDFs of the 2018 update and expansion of Numenera, the Monte Cook Games science fantasy tabletop role-playing game of Discovery and Destiny, which just happened to be two of the core book's titles, in the ninth world, a billion years away. 1 billion years. This is the bundle of holding debut of Numenera Discovery and his companion volume, Numenera Destiny, both funded in a spectacular $845,000 Kickstarter campaign. Many titles in this offer have never appeared in any bundle. Numenera is about exploration in the far future. There have been 8 worlds before ours. The people of the 9th world suffered through a dark age, an era of isolation and struggle in the shadow of civilizations millennia gone. But a new age dawns. Brave explorers who discover and master the works of the past worlds, the Numenera, can unlock new powers and abilities, defend the weak, bolster the sick and starving, build a community, and perhaps bring a greater destiny to a struggling world. For just $17.95, you get all 9 titles in the Discovery Collection with a retail value of $93 as DRM-free PDFs, including the complete full-color 418-page Numenera Discovery Core Book, plus a player's guide, character portfolio, and many freebies. Priests of the Aeons, the Technology Compendium, the Ninth World Guidebook, 2 sets of maps of the Ninth World, and the character and creature stand-ups. If you pay more than the threshold price of $37.56, you'll level up and also get the entire Destiny collection with 11 more titles worth an additional $146, including the Numenera Destiny Companion Core Book, the campaign expansion Building Tomorrow, all 3 Ninth World Bestiaries, the Location Source Book, Voices of the Datasphere, the massive 2-part campaign Slaves of the Machine God, the Adventure Anthology Explorer's Keys, and 3 Ninth World Adventures, Forgetting Doomsday, Shadewalker, and The Thief, the Clave, and the Ultimatum. You can score these savings through September 27th, 10% of your payment after gateway fees. It's going to be donated to this offer's pandemic-related charity, Direct Relief. Nice. I think this is a pretty fantastic bundle. You figure you can get on board with the core book for and the other titles in the the starter tier for $17 and 95 cents. You would pay more than that just for the core book PDF at DriveThruRPG. So pretty sweet. This is very, very nice. So Flaming Heron's pointing out that they certainly upped the bundle from the one that he got from Humble Bundle a few years ago. Plus, this is a completely different edition. This is the Destiny and Discovery that had changed some of the stuff. I gotta be honest, I reviewed the original Numenera, the PDF. That was back when I was doing PDF reviews, when I did written reviews. And I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, the way Monte Cook Games was presenting it was like, oh, we're revolutionizing role-playing. I was like, you're not doing that. But I still thought it was really nice. That was pretty cool. So this is a fantastic deal. All right, moving right along. Do want to point out, I am going to be talking about the Pathfinder role-playing game releases from Paizo Inc. that are coming in October. There is loads coming out from Paizo in October. So whenever I start talking Pathfinder and Starfinder, I always say, hey, if you're not interested, this is going to be a few minutes. So go grab yourself a soda or adult beverage or whatever. So Clint Gibson has joined us in chat. Clint, I need you to shoot me your address again. For some strange reason, when you won the other night, I swear I saw the email and now it has disappeared. It is not even on my email server. So anyway, let's jump on in because the future is bright for Paizo Inc. and Pathfinder. Here's what's on tap. First off, we've got Pathfinder Guns and Gears. Gear up and throw down. When sword and spell just won't be enough to win the day, it's time to power up your game with clockwork gears, lightning coils, and black powder. Guns and Gears, the latest hardcover rulebook for the Pathfinder role-playing game, 2nd edition, brings the excitement of firearms and fantasy technology to your tabletop. Unravel the secrets of clockworks with the new Inventor class, or blow away your opposition as a firearm-wielding gunslinger. In addition to new classes, a plethora of archetypes, backgrounds, vehicles, siege engines, gadgets, and the new automation ancestry are all ready to expand your game with options for battlefields large and small. Gears and Guns features 2 new classes, the Clever Inventor and the Sharpshooting Gunslinger. Automaton Ancestry for players who want to play a customizable construct. Firearms of all stripes, from the simple and effective flintlock pistol to versatile gun blades. More than a dozen new archetypes, scores of new gadgets and vehicles, siege engines, and accompanying rules. There's also a gazetteer of Galarian revealing how firearms and technology fit into the Age of Lost Omens, including a look at the technology of the continents of Arcadia and Jiangxi. Never before revealed secrets of the rough and tumble gritty city of Elkinstar. This 256-page hardcover is going to carry an MSRP of $49.99. It'll also be available in PDF for $14.99. I believe there is also a pocket edition hitting at the same time, which is very unusual. We just saw that with Secrets of Magic. I think for the first time from Paizo that they released a core supplement and the pocket edition at the same time. So, and I think this also is going to have a like limited edition hardcover. Next, we have Pathfinder Lost Omens, The Grand Bazaar. Be the first to market with Pathfinder Lost Omens, The Grand Bazaar. The Grand Bazaar is Absalom's greatest marketplace, featuring items from all over Golarion. Here, an adventurer can find equipment of all kinds to help them on their next quest, like new weapons, armors, magic items, accessibility items to enable adventures for anyone, new animal companions, and more. The Grand Bazaar is also home to countless unique merchants and shops. Game masters can use these new shops as part of their campaigns to flesh out the world and inspire new adventures. See what's on sale, for sale, at the Grand Bazaar and snap up the good deals while you still can. This hardcover is going to carry an MSRP of $34.99. The PDF, strangely enough, is going to be $24.99. So not that bit of a difference. So we also have Pathfinder Adventure Path 171, Hurricanes Howl. It is part 3 of the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path. The students become the masters. Lore speakers are the teachers of the Magambia School of Magic, and the heroes have graduated and joined their ranks. Sent with their students to the edge of the Mwanjai expanse, these new teachers must unearth ancient ruins while keeping themselves and their students out of danger. When a student vanishes, the heroes uncover a nefarious plot to subjugate the rain-lashed sodden lands. They must liberate a town, stop an evil cult, and show their students how heroes stand as wardens of the world. Hurricanes Howl is a Pathfinder adventure for 4 8th-level characters. This adventure continues the Strength of Thousands adventure path, a 6-part monthly campaign in which the heroes rise from humble Magic Academy students to influential teachers and ultimately decide the fate of Magambia. This adventure also presents a comprehensive gazetteer of a sodden lands town, as well as new monsters and new rules flying in on the hurricane's winds. The soft cover will carry an MSRP of $24.99, PDF for $17.99. Then we've got, amazingly enough, in the same month, Adventure Path number 172, Secrets of the Temple City, which is chapter 4 of the Strength of Thousands. From the necropolis to the lost city. As trusted teachers at the Magambia School of Magic, where have I heard that before? The heroes are sent on a delicate diplomatic mission to a city ruled by an evil mummy god. During these negotiations, the heroes unearth the location of a wondrous hidden village that needs the Magambia's knowledge and protection, but the mummy god's military is on the march. If the heroes can't thwart the army, it will plunder the village's treasures and unleash an ancient evil contained since the world was covered in darkness. This is a Pathfinder adventure for 4 12th level characters and continues the Strength of Thousands adventure path. This adventure also will contain, details of the other teachers, the heroes' peers, and present a comprehensive look at Walkina, the evil child mummy god of Zali. New monsters, new magic, and new diplomatic options provide a bounty of opportunities for adventure. This softcover also has an MSRP of $24.99 and $17.99 for the PDF. We also have the standalone adventure, Night of the Grey Death. Galt's executioners are the masked and mysterious Grey Gardeners. Held above the laws of the chaotic nation, these grim killers soak the revolution-racked land in dread and blood. They behead the guilty and innocent alike with their magical guillotines, but few possess the courage to stand against them. Powerful heroes must infiltrate the Grey Gardeners and put an end to their reign of terror. As the heroes race from haunted crypts to the elegant opulence of an ill-fated mask, the midnight chime will bring salvation or doom to a nation. Night of the Grey Death is a deluxe adventure in gothic horror for 16th level characters written by Ron Lundeen. It exposes the secrets of the Grey Gardeners with new monsters, new magic items, and new challenges to test the mightiest heroes. Mysteries and intrigue abound during the Night of the Grey Death. This softcover will carry an MSRP of $22.99. We also have the Pathfinder Flip Mat for Night of the Grey Death, which carries an MSRP of $14.99. We have the Flip Mat Jungle Multi-Pack, which will carry an MSRP of $22.99. And then finally, we have the Flip Mat Classics Thieves Guild that will carry a MSRP of $14.99. And then we also have a new set of flip tiles, the Forest Walls and Towers expansion, which will carry an MSRP of $19.99. Keeping in mind, this is just Pathfinder. There's so much stuff coming out from Paizo in October. I usually do the Pathfinder and Starfinder together. Not this time out. So we'll talk about what's on the horizon for Starfinder on Monday's show. All of these releases are expected to arrive at your friendly local game store on or about October 13th. All right, final news piece. There is a new Delta Green adventure, which has arrived in print and PDF from Art Dream Publishing. Here are the details on Jack Frost. It's the most wonderful time of the year. A rural Alabama valley has always been prone to severe cold snaps. On December 22nd, 1998, the worst Jack Frost storm in history hit the farming town of Willis. A lingering freeze and sudden flood killed dozens. Your players get a ground view of that apocalyptic storm. Their scientists, drawn from an ultra-classified UFO research project, suspect that something otherworldly is at work. Their investigation may reveal a threat more vast and terrifying than they could conceive. Jack Frost is a scenario for Delta Green, the role-playing game. Features the other side of one of Delta Green's deadliest conflicts, the researchers and soldiers of the legendary Majestic program. This includes Project Pluto, experts from the top secret labs at Area 51, Operation Blue Fly, pararescuemen and pilots trained to recover alien technology, and NRO Delta, the lethal men in black who keep America's secrets from America itself. Deep research and dozens of handouts bring this sprawling operation to light. Get digital versions of all handouts and the scenario as a bonus when you buy Jack Frost in print. So bundle up, mull your cider and wine, put a few more logs on the fire, and pull your family close. Pretend you can't hear the sounds outside. Tell yourself they're only the wind. They have to be just the wind. Looks like Jack Frost is coming to town again. This 92-page softcover is available at DriveThruRPG for $29.99. You can snag the PDF for $9.99. All right, so that is it for the news. Got to point out, Leather Guru, you got to chill out on the Fallout. Otherwise, I will have to ask our chat moderator to boot you. Just pointing that out. Because the way the show is, we do tabletop gaming news, follow it up with a look at the latest in tabletop games. So understand, you want to see Fallout, I got it. But there is a method to the madness that we do around here. All right, who else do we got in chat? I thought we had somebody else. There we go. Andrew Milcivic is the first time watching live. Hey, well, welcome aboard. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so we are going to jump into Fallout in just a minute, but I do want to mention that I do understand it looks like tomorrow I'm going to receive the Dungeons and Dragons, The Wild Beyond the Witchlight release. So if that comes in tomorrow, I have a package coming from Wizards of the Coast. I'm assuming that's it. So what I will do is I will have a first look video up tomorrow. Once again, who knows if I'll get it or not, because I have had, and it's always with Wizards of the Coast stuff. For some reason, it comes FedEx, and FedEx tends to drop it off someplace else rather than the correct address. So we will see what happens. But I should have that first look. So Flaming Heron's asking, when is that coming out? I think it's on the 21st, if I remember correctly. So there is that. Also, want to point out that Gen Con's next week. On Monday's show, I will talk about the companies that I've got interviews scheduled with and give people an opportunity to enter in the comments companies they'd like to see me try to get interviews with. I have reached out to quite a few companies, and even though they're showing that they're exhibitors, they don't have anybody really from the company who's going to be there. They still have booths, but it looks like they're just there selling product, period, and that's it. So, but I do have a good number of cool companies I'll be talking to. So I will mention that when we jump on in on Monday's show. All right. So without further ado, I know people like, say, Leather Guru are waiting to see Fallout the Roleplaying Game, which is from Modiphius Entertainment. It's written by Allison Sybee, Jason Brick, Nathan Dowdle, Jonathan Fry, Oz Mills, Virginia Page, and Sam Webb. This 438-page hardcover is available right now for pre-order. It is not in stores yet. Or you can snag the PDF right now at DriveThruRPG, $20.99. Speaking of DriveThruRPG, the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to swing over to DriveThruRPG or any of the other sites, by all means, stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you do make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And it really does help keep the gaming gang around. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera, because here we've got ka-ching! Fallout the Role-Playing Game from Modiphius Entertainment, as well as Bethesda. I think Bethesda goes by Bethesda Softworks, I believe. So Leather Guru points out that September 14th is when Amazon is indicating the new D&D book comes out. It might be that. All right. So I know a lot of people were pretty pumped about this coming out. Should point out, the Gaming Gang already has a review of this. So it's pretty funny. Yeah, it's something that we got the PDFs to, and Sammy did her review, really liked it. And I thought, hey, okay. I believe we also have somebody who watching the show who is going to be joining the team of reviewers as well. So we are working on that. Indigo Dragon says the Fallout book is really sweet. Their Wasteland Survival Gek kit made it to my vault bunker the other day. Yeah, I thought it was funny. My nephew Cameron, who, of course, if you follow the show or the website, you know he's part of the gang. Although now he's in basic training. He's actually beyond basic training. He's finishing up. He's in the Air Force, or I should say Air National Guard. I always start saying Air Force, but I want to be official. So I'll never forget, one day he was like, this is years ago. He was maybe 13, 14. He's like, Uncle Jeff, I got this game that you really got to check out. I'm like, really? What is it? He's like, Fallout 3. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? I've already played that. All right. So I'm kind of surprised that we don't have something on the back here that says, War never changes. I know I'm trying to channel my best Ron Perlman. All right, let's jump on in. I do want to point out I am not going to show off each and every page. We're going to skip through a little bit. This has been out for a while. I know the PDFs have been floating out there for quite some time as well. So I'm not necessarily concerned with people pirating, which I'm amazed that people would pirate stuff off of screenshots in a video, but they do, weirdly enough. All right, so I do want to give some credit due to these fine folks here. So we've got our writers, got quite a lot of different artists as well. I believe a lot of this art came from Bethesda, and I don't necessarily have credits for the artists. Indigo Dragon has just pointed out something that I was going to mention. The artwork throughout this is excellent. I kind of peeked through the PDF. And I was like, wow, very, very nicely done. Some of this, I do believe, I'm not positive. Some of the artwork is actually, I think some of it is like design art from the game as well. So we got our core rules. So this is our 2D20. So this is a 2D20 system. So you've got attribute and skill with this as well. Now, I know I had mentioned when we were taking a look at Dune, we were talking about like the crunch level of 2D20. And I got to point out, it's very interesting with Modiphius Entertainment because they use the same system, but they tweak the system for different games. Now, there was a commenter who had pointed out that they thought Infinity, which is based on the, Corvus Belli miniatures system, they said they were pretty sure that's the crunchiest of all the 2D20 role-playing games. So here it looks like we're just getting some, basic core rules. So nothing crazy. We got action points. I know there's a dice pool, luck. So right away, we're jumping into combat. So unlike the presentation of Dune, which we had a lot of background info, a lot of fluff, I guess we would say, before we jumped into the actual rules, we're jumping right on in here. I would take a stab. This is pretty crunchy. Maybe it's not as crunchy as Infinity is, but I got a pretty good idea that this is going to be pretty crunchy here. Once again, you can check out Sammy's review over at thegaminggang.com. But yeah, his artwork is excellent. There's good old Pip-Boy throughout as well. Man, love this artwork. This artwork is very, very well presented. So here we go. We are character creation. And it looks like our character creation rules go about 24 pages. But it looks like we're probably going to have quite a bit of artwork here with Pip-Boy. Yeah, we do. There we go. So we've got skills, perks, choose your origin. So here we've got our archetypes. So Indigo Dragon says Fallout's crunches between Dishonored and John Carter. I was going to say John Carter is really light. I mean, granted, yes, it's still 2D20, but it is really kind of story focused. So I have not seen Dishonored. So yeah, Conan, I always thought Conan was the crunchiest of the bunch. And Star Trek is probably the least because they wanted to bring in a lot of like non-gamers to Star Trek Adventures. I got to say, I have been covering Modiphius Entertainment since they released their first item, which was part of their new Achtung Cthulhu line. And it was the adventure. I think it was Three Kings was the adventure. And I was like, it's all right. I interviewed Chris Birch a few years after that. And I'd asked him, hey, did you ever imagine? And this is before they had Fallout and Dune and everything else. I think they had just announced Star Trek Adventures. And I had asked him, did you ever think your company was going to just grow so quickly and pick up these really awesome licenses? And he honestly said, well, I really wanted to have a great company, but no, not at all. Didn't see that coming. All right. So getting into gear now. We've got equipment. It looks like we got almost 100 pages of that. Pretty sweet. Let's hope that we get a lot of good images here. Oh, look at this. Are we going to get an image for each? Close. I always love core books where they give you a lot of artwork or images of the various gear, weapons, and things like that. Always dig that. Of course, seeing that this is based on the video games, I was going to say computer games, but then again, it's like, no, they're also on consoles, Jeff. I know I'm a PC snob, even though I've owned Xbox and PlayStation. So, but I think I'm sure a lot of people who are super familiar with Fallout don't necessarily need to see images of everything, but it goes a long way. Armor for dogs. Clothing and outfits. There we go. We've got our bookmark. No, I don't remember seeing a bookmark in Dune. Maybe it was there. I just missed it, maybe. Brotherhood of Steel Hood. Armor and armor mods. Got power armor. Sweet. All right, so I have to admit, I did not play Fallout 4, and I have not touched Fallout 76. My best friend, Elliot Miller, he's been messing around with Fallout 76. I had just heard, I did not hear good things. So, and of course, obviously enough, being an MMO, sort of, it was going to go through a bunch of growing pains. But Elliot plays it, and he's like, hey, man, it's pretty cool. I'm like, okay. I personally have been playing on my laptop Pathfinder Kingmaker. I know. I first picked it up, and it was really buggy. And years later, I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a try, because there's a new Pathfinder computer RPG out. All right, so a lot of equipment in here. Hey, Mr. Handy. Man's best friend reinvented. All right, survival, staying alive, scavenging, and crafting. I know this is going to be a big deal with this as well. You got to, if you're doing a Fallout role-playing game, tabletop role-playing game, you have got to have crafting rules. And of course, obviously enough, scavenging rules, because it's post-apocalyptic. So we've got a lot of different, just random tables here. We get into crafting, recipes, chemistry station. Boris says Fallout 76 was an epic fail. I don't know if I'd go, like I said, I don't know. I never played it, never checked it out. Nuka-Cola. I have to laugh because, once again, my nephew Cameron took a little mini fridge and they painted it and they put like the Nuka-Cola like that on it. Thought that was kind of funny. All right. Lots and lots of tables here for different weapons and mods. Corporations of pre-war America. So now it looks like we're going to get into some of the fluff, the background information, talking about the war. So if I remember right, isn't it 2077 that the war is supposed to take place? Which is really funny because you also have Cyberpunk 2077. So which is it? So is it a cyberpunk future, or is it effectively the end of the world. So there you go, Nuka-Cola. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it isn't 2077. I thought it was 2077. So Omanal's joined us in chat. Good to see you, Omanal. Says they like Conan, I should say. I know people get mad if I don't say Conan, even though I always grew up, my friends and I always said Conan. So Omanal says, like Conan, John Carter's not grown on them. Yeah, like I said, that's one of the interesting aspects, but I think it might be something that sort of keeps people away from some of the Modiphius games, is that because they tweak the 2D20 system so much, it's not like, oh, well, I know how to play this, so that means I know how to play that. So somebody, say, coming from like Star Trek Adventures, they'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, well, we know how those rules work. Let's pick up Fallout, where we can see Fallout looks a lot crunchier. So we got Vault-Tec, October 23rd, the day before my birthday. Yeah, it is 2077. There we go. Because it says here, on October 23rd, 2077, air raid sirens called survivors to their vaults. We got Vaults of the Commonwealth. Let's go rebuild America. I really, really dig the look of this. The Commonwealth. Key events, key locations, encounters, plots. Jumping through here. Yeah, it's funny. I always say, oh, well, we're not going to take a look at every page. And then what I do is I just like race through some of the pages. So we do actually see every page, but I don't linger on them very, very long. So Omanal says, they'll be honest, they do like modifying the system to get the ambience. I say it all the time. I mentioned in my reviews, I am not necessarily all that enamored by mechanics, because I have absolutely no qualms about taking a game and throwing mechanics out, replacing it with stuff that I like, or taking a really like detailed role-playing game and tossing a bunch of stuff out to make it far more accessible for just average players. I'm a theater of the mind kind of guy. I talk about that all the time, that I am all about, creating a sense, creating a sense of place in my games, as opposed to, all right, now I need you to roll these dice. So Omanal says the art seems to fluctuate between realistic dystopia and then goes to the silly, humorous pictures, which is sort of a Fallout thing. So Omanal points out, not as much art, it seems. We had a lot of art early on. We're seeing a little bit less of the art, but we've got every like 2-3 pages so far. Now, like I said, now we're getting into not as much artwork. I love the spreads here, though. The spreads are very cool. Although I got to say, this the detail on this one's pretty soft. All right, so we got a Game Master section here. I do seem to remember that there is an adventure included in this as well. I think it's like, 18, 20 pages. Omanal says, I try to make dice rolls only when meaningful. Yes. Or if I'm doing some random stuff, yeah, then I'll roll some dice. But other than that, Denizens of the Wasteland. So we got NPCs, creatures. So let's see, when we get into like the bestiary here, how many images we're going to see. It's like we're getting one for each. The Death Claw. Nice. Always love that. Always love, doesn't matter if it's a bestiary or if it's, a bestiary section of a role-playing game core book. I love seeing images, Now, granted, dogs, cats, cattle, elk, those kind of things, I don't necessarily need to see an image of. But if it's something fantastical, I do want to see images. And I understand artwork is not cheap, so it's not easy to. There's Mr. Handy with the baby. It is not easy to fill up a role-playing game book of any kind with a lot of artwork. It is pricey, unless you're just throwing in the kind of like clip art sets you can purchase, like say on DriveThruRPG. Nice, very cool. Turrets. Once again, I'm not too concerned that they don't have a lot of artwork for different turrets. Brotherhood of Steel. We had some Raiders, Wastelanders. Omanel says they spent the art budget on Dune. That is a very pretty book. That is also something that Sammy reviewed as well, that I had mentioned as we were taking a look at it on Monday's show. Astoundingly Awesome Tales number 4, only $29. With a bang or a whimper, here we go. Here's the adventure. So we got Act 1. Looks like it's got 3 acts. Once again, scene-based. I don't know. I got to be honest. I don't think there's any Modiphius games that can be played sandboxy as far as their published adventures. They're all scene-based adventures. To my knowledge, I gotta be honest. I haven't seen every single release from Modiphius. It's only very recently they started to send along the physical books. So Indigo Dragon says, Dune is pretty, but it's too light and way too narrative for their tastes. Once again, it's more of a story game. So Omanal says, Conan is a perfect combination of crunch and narrative. I like Conan a lot. I have not had an opportunity to see a lot of the releases after the core book. And I saw the PDF on Conan. So Modiphius, I believe, is at Gen Con, but I believe they're also a company that they're not really, I think it's a company that's doing we've got staff at the booth, but they're just there to sell. Because I don't think Chris Birch could make it over here. And I know the vast majority of their employees are in Europe, just like Cubicle 7 Entertainment. They're still being shown as an exhibitor. I had reached out to the team there because, of course, if they're going to be there, I'm interviewing them. They're my pals. And no, they're not. So, all right, there we go. There is Fallout, the role-playing game. Hang on. There we go. All right. So, how are we going to come up with a trivia question? I got an idea. Well, no, there's not enough. I'm thinking of how many variables. Because I'm going to give away a PDF of Fallout, the role-playing game, to a lucky winner who's watching live. And I will also give away a PDF to a lucky viewer who watches after the fact. Basically, if you watch after the fact, or you could have watched live, just comment in the comment section. I will randomly choose somebody to win a copy of Fallout, the role-playing game from Modiphius Entertainment in PDF. Of course, do want to point out that the book is arriving in stores. You can still order it. I think it's still considered a pre-order. You can get it for $54. You can also snag the PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $20.99, which is actually a really good deal. So Bruno Limpria, taking a guess. Hopefully I didn't mess up your last name too bad. Keldon has joined us as well. Very cool. Keldon's watching live. Bruno says, I hope I'm recovering fine. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I am doing pretty good. So, Bruno says this book seems a must-have. What are my final remarks on this? I got to be honest, it looks pretty cool, but I already have, well, I didn't do it. Sammy did a review for this already a few months back, like I think it's like a month and a half back. So because she did a review, I didn't really take a peek at it, but I will be taking a look. And I'm kind of bouncing around. Do I want to do a video review for Dune as well as Fallout to coincide with her reviews? But it feels kind of weird if I have a written review from somebody and then I have a video review of it and disagree. So there it's kind of like, so whose review should have been the one? All right, so let's see. What can we do here? All right. So we'll do this again. Omanal says that Dice Tower does it all the time. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess they do. They got so many people working for the Dice Tower. There would be some overlap, I would think. All right. So Indigo Dragon says, yeah, multiple perspectives are always good. All right. So let's do this. We are going to go with, you only get one guess. The answer is going to be numerical. And this time we will do closest to that number without going over is going to win a copy of Fallout the Roleplaying Game in PDF. Give me the total combined of writers, and they have to be credited as writers, as well as Bethesda artwork and staff. So I will give you guys and gals watching a few minutes. Get your guesses in there. Once again, get one guess each. And you can't go over. You can't go over. Someone else says 76. All right. Clint Gibson says 13. All right. So I'm going to tell you right now, it is exactly 13. Clint got it. Clint guessed it. See, what's funny is Omanal and Andrew and Bruno have probably seen some of the prior videos where I've done like this as my trivia question, although I'm going to change that up a little bit. Don't want it to always be the same because it's easy to look up credits on stuff. What I was going to say is that we did a recent one, and it was like the combined writers and artists were like 70 some people. So Indigo Dragon says 1. Yes, I am the writer and artist. I am the Fallout. So Flaming Heron says they abstained, but they were going to guess a lot more. All right. Anyway, once again, Trioxin 245. I think that is, I know, or Trioxin, numbers. And Clint Gibson, please reach out to me once again with your addresses so I can get those adventures out to you that you won. And I will have the Dune PDF for Flaming Heron. And Clint, I will be sending you a link for the PDF for Fallout the Roleplaying Game as well. So I'll tell you what I will do is I'll do reviews on Dune and Fallout so people can get a peek at that. Also do want to point out, if you joined us a little late, I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% positive that tomorrow I'll be receiving Dungeons and Dragons. What is it? The Wild Beneath the Wild Light or something. Trying to remember the name of the adventure book. The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Isn't that it? It's just such an oddball title. I am curious how that adventure is going to be. I think it's supposed to be kind of whimsical, which I don't necessarily mind. I think that's okay. Sometimes a little lighter fairy tale kind of vibe to role playing adventure is kind of cool. Everything doesn't have to be so dark and dire all the time. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have that arriving tomorrow. If it does arrive at a decent hour, I will have a first look video of it out tomorrow as well. If not, you probably won't be seeing a video of that until Saturday, because I have to go downtown Chicago on Friday, and it's going to take up the whole day. All right, that is it for this time out. Once again, if you like the video, by all means, subscribe, thumb up, ding that bell. You know the drill. I don't have to go through the whole thing the same way every time. Of course, if you do subscribe, you'll be notified when not only the Dispatch streams live, but also when I upload standalone videos, which I don't happen to have anything sitting around here I can grab that I've done a stand-up video of, but usually they're reviews, like, say, my review of Pathfinder Secrets of Magic from last week. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Those of you who watch live, thank you very much. I know we had some first-timers hanging out who had not had an opportunity to hang out live in chat. Thank you for taking some time out to hang out with this knucklehead. Of course, I know there are a lot of people out there who don't get an opportunity to watch the show live. Thank you also very much for taking time out to watch. All right, so I will be back next Monday, which will be the only show next week, because, of course, I'll be covering Gen Con later in the week. So everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. I will see you Monday. And, of course, until then, here's hoping each and every one of you enjoy plenty of great gaming with your very own gang. Oh, you're still here. Well, while you're kicking it, how about subscribing to the Gaming Gang channel, or seeing the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or finding out what YouTube recommends you check out here at my channel. And of course, don't forget, get your geek on at thegaminggang.com.